Hello friends, welcome back to a new episode of Road to Rank 1. We're currently at 6635 MMR and our first opponent is a Protoss Hunter. But you've probably heard it before, sometimes the predator becomes the prey. And that is the case in this time, as I am the apex predator of the ladder currently. I'm going to be taking out, well, if you don't count about 15 other people that are above me, but if you don't count those, I am the apex predator, and we will not be counted. He also misspelled Protoss. Doesn't show, doesn't show. It doesn't scare me as much if you misspell Protoss in Protoss Hunter. It just doesn't have the same threat for some reason. It's not quite as intimidating. Anyway, enough with the jokes. This is serious business here. We'll be opening up with some oracles. The map is 2K atmospheres. We'll need to actually set up some of our hotkeys. Wow, so many nice cameras. Do I have this one? Yep, 7 camera hotkeys. Beautiful stuff. Actually, can I go up to 8? This is our 8th base. Oh, you love to see it. Nice. So we have plenty of bases set up already. If we actually go into a massive macro game, that's of course not really the plan. We can do 2 things here. We can either play... we can do 3 things. We can send a taunt right now to our opponent, like an emoji, or we cannot do that. And then I'll go into the other 2 options. So the other 2 options are, I can play the kind of the low gas style with the blink opener, or I can go into a high gas style with a blink opener. And I kind of want to play against 2 Zergs, and I can show both styles and kind of talk about the advantages and the disadvantages of both the styles. It's interesting, at least in my mind. It's interesting. To be fair, I find loads of stuff interesting. This morning, for example, it rained a little bit, and as I was walking towards the gym, I found literally the biggest slug I've seen in my entire life. I didn't have a banana with me for skill, so I took a picture of my hand, and it was literally almost as large as my hand. And my hand is like maybe, or my finger, my finger is like probably like 16, 17 centimeters or so. Huge slug, and also just very pretty. Like, I couldn't believe my eyes how high definition the slug was. Like, the shell as well. Very often when you look at slugs, they look kind of low definition, you know? Like a picture from the early 2000s on the internet. It's like, it doesn't look super sick, but this one, it just looked so high definition. It actually surprised me. Beautiful, beautiful shell. Just a great body as well. It was moving across the road to safety, to where like grass and stuff like that is. So I think that's where safety is. I'm not actually sure what's more likely for a slug. Getting eaten by other animals in the grass, or getting run over by bikes in the Netherlands. It wouldn't surprise me if it's getting run over by bikes. There's so many bikers in the Netherlands. Sometimes pisses me off. Poor slugs. Okay, where was I? Right, we're gonna play a double oracle opener here. How did I get to the slugs? That doesn't really matter anymore. I think this is the correct position. I might be off by a hex there, though. I think I actually am off by a hex. That would be pretty bad. That actually would be pretty bad. Pretty low level. Ah, nice. We're off by a hex. Maybe I can go in again? No, we can't. And we actually do want to get a Twilight at this point. Okay, so good Overlord spread out of the Protoss Hunter here. It's impressive. Oh, actually want to move here. Put 1 chrono on this bad boy. And at the same time, we'll get a thing over here. Oh, I can actually take that out. Oh, I should have not ended it yet. Okay, well, now I'm proper upset. Yeah. Not too happy with how that went. Okay, we're going to be playing a pretty... What should I say? A pretty low gas style. We'll stay on 4 for as long as we can, basically. And we're going to stay on a very low gateway count as well, initially. Maybe I can actually deal some damage here. Don't actually have enough energy, do I? No, we only get a single kill. It's obviously not good enough. Yeah. Not a huge fan of how this is going so far. We're going to need to add 2 more gateways at some point as well. I think this might just be that timing. Where we actually do need to add a couple of gateways. Maybe we can't afford it though. Yeah, we actually barely can't afford it. Because I want to continuously be warping in units. That's one of the main tricks in PvZ right now. It's just warping in units of a relatively low gateway count. It actually is quite important. It allows you to get a lot of units out on the map early. And while having good eco as well. Because you're cutting gateways in favor of good eco, basically. So we get one more warp in here. Then we start sending these bad boys to the wrong side of the road. The right side, basically. We might actually try and do something there as well. Hello, I thought I had this on the way. There we go. Okay. Research complete. This has some real potential. Oh, maybe we can actually kill a queen here or there. Is there +1? I didn't quite see if there's +1 or not. Forgot to build this thing, by the way. It's kind of big. Doesn't actually have an extra gas there yet. That's kind of weird, I have to admit. That actually is really weird. It's not just kind of weird. That's really weird. Like, honest to God, just weird. Okay, these are going to move around right now. And one thing you can almost always do is this. Because they move out with the queens. Well, very often they move towards the front with the queens after you move away with your units. This is a very standard type of reflex out of Zerg players. And it also makes a lot of sense, which is why most Zerg players actually do it. I'm gonna get one more Oracle. You want to stay higher in Oracles, not because you're going to harass more with them, but because they allow you to stay alive relatively easily. Actually. Okay, so we'll get a 5th base as well. It's not perhaps completely necessary yet. At the same time, it will help me a little bit at least. We'll send a Zealot run by towards this left side. I should have, yep, my charge finishing up at this point. Oh, that's that. Forgot to cancel it as well. Ooh. We can of course also always run away. And we can start adding more and more oracles into this army. Which is nice. Wonder if he realizes what's going to end up happening here. He's going to walk into one of my stasis traps. My opponent isn't quite aware of that yet, of course. He can be. But he's definitely eventually going to run into one of my stasis traps. I also want some zealots with this army. Now, this is where the bad part of this comes in. Really, one of the major weaknesses is when you can't force anything. So you're just not really trading too much. This build sucks, because eventually your opponent will be capable of maxing out, most likely. And that's where things really start going wrong. Which, well, yeah, is just generally not brilliant. We have 92 workers though, and we have a lot of income. We also have a crap ton of gates. We now have 4 oracles, 5th one on the way. So it's like kind of a delayed mass oracle, which is quite good in my opinion. I'm going to send these over here, and at the same time a couple in towards the 3rd base. Now we are just up in bases, look at this. Often lower level Zergs, they A-move their banes. And then you can blink in. Well, not in this case, I guess. Rather than move commanding. Oh, that's actually a lot of units here now. Yeah, I'm afraid I'm going to have to kill you here, buddy. Just want to snipe everything that shoots up. That way my oracles will stay alive. And I can probably just kill my opponent right now. We're gonna get a 6th base. We have just way too many units. I zerg this Zerg real good. When the hunter becomes the hunted, my friends. Is there anything of interest here for me? No, not really. We can send this one in as well. Oh, there's a single bane there. Hello? Oh my god, that was some terrible target fire. Legitimately terrible. But it doesn't really matter. We have so much crap right now. That's not very good either. Honestly, the entire game just hasn't been too brilliant out of me. But it has been good enough. And that's often the thing that matters. It's not whether it's brilliant, it's whether it's good enough. And this seems to have been good enough. Ooh. As I say that, I'm actually kind of getting pushed back here. Need to be somewhat careful, I guess. I also shouldn't forget about the what you call it? The Templar archives that I built a while ago. I can of course start using that at some point. It's not super necessary, I think, but at some point I can use it either for Blink or for, you know, not Blink, either for Storm or for Archons, and Archons seem like something that I would want to build. Need to clear some creep here on the top side, that's for sure. Yeah. Oh, he's probably sending a run by in our, huh? Does he have that top side base or what? Maybe does. Yeah, definitely does. Okay, well this is going to be a good fight. Because there's no Banes here whatsoever, which means that we can probably trade somewhat okay. As long as there's no Banes, you're always going to be trading pretty okay. Because they just have good upgrades as well. My opponent actually also has a fine set of upgrades, honestly. I'm not super impressed by my own upgrades right now. So the topside base gets taken out. We just occupy this tower for now. And we start taking a little bit of gas. This should be playable. This is a win. These guys have 0-0. There's not a single carapace upgrade yet. That's good for me. Okay, so this will be bad for my opponent. Can't really push into this, I think. Because I have too many oracles as well. So yeah, it's not really viable. We can send these back though. Wouldn't surprise me if something's going to happen up here. Yep. Okay, we're completely right now out of supply. Like we're fully supplied. Is that what you call it? I'm not quite sure if that's what you call it. Anyway, we're just going to start moving forward. This bad boy is going to help. Maybe create some opportunities. Nah, I don't care enough about that. You're going to need to defend, buddy. Yeah, that worked. Yeah, that worked as well. This is how we do it. Well, I didn't actually pay attention very much to my run by, but I guess I don't have to if I'm just winning this hard. I don't want to stand in any of these piles either. Not sure if this is the correct thing to attack if there's so many Ravagers nearby, huh? Much rather just kill those Ravagers. GG! The Apex Predator does it again. That's me. Nice. Beautiful stuff. We get 6 points in the pocket. And that brings us to 66-41, which is just a beautiful score. We're going to queue up another time and hopefully win another game. Sometimes Blizzard acts like the genie in Aladdin and actually fulfills your wishes. And you get the same player twice in a row when you want it. So you can show the difference between two little variations of a very similar build order. So I'm actually kind of happy with that. This is also the perfect map. Like I get the perfect maps in the correct order. So on this map, I think playing something like a 6-gas variation with a slightly delayed 4th base is actually a little bit better. And we're going to get into why that is exactly as I play it. And at times, this game is going to get a little more, what you call it? A little more wild. I'm not entirely sure if I can explain everything as in-depth as the last game, but I'll try my best. And I'll especially try to point to the differences as well, what happens between these two little variations. The previous game, what I played, is considered the hero style, the low gas count. But for whatever reason, whenever someone opens Blink after Oracles these days, that is also called the hero style. I think that is incorrect. I think the hero style is when it's low gas, and if it's not low gas, well, then it's just a pretty standard opener. Like nothing too weird. The only difference is that now we can open with Blink rather than with Charge, which allows us to put on a little bit of pressure. So we're basically playing kind of old school, like how we would play in 2017, except with a blink opener. And yeah, that just allows us for a little bit of pressure onto the Zerg. So I'm going to try to show that as well. We're going to have hopefully a very good time here. Wait, I should deny a little more mining with this worker. I especially like this type of style, the higher gas count on smaller maps, because counterattacks from your opponent are harder to hold. And one of the main things with the hero style is being capable of holding counterattacks with just pure Oracle Blink Stalker, because you can kite very far back towards your main base. And Oracles deal a lot of damage over time, but they don't actually deal that much damage directly. So yeah, the larger the map, the better the low gas style gets. And the shorter the map, the better the high gas style gets. This is my interpretation of how I see things currently. I could be wrong. I could disagree with myself 3 days from now as well. Often these things, when there's big meta changes, you usually see a kind of a big shakeup on how people see things, and that will probably continue for a little bit longer. But currently, I believe that double, triple, or single Oracle openers into a fast Twilight Council, into Blink, are just going to remain king for a little bit at least. I really do believe that. So we already have a slight variation here that has nothing to do with how my follow-up is going to be, but just, you know, to keep my opponent on his toes, keep this Protoss Hunter scared. So I will use this Stalker to clear this Overlord eventually. I checked if there was a third base over there, make sure there's no run-bys happening. The way that I want to play this out is just get an Oracle here, Chrono Boost that bad boy out. Pylon on the far edge. Have I set up my... No, I haven't quite yet. Oh, look at that. Very useful for me. Get this type of info. This also allows me slightly more money in the early game, by the way, because rather than getting 3 Adepts, I get a Stalker. I just have a little more money left over. And on top of that, I also just have... Ooh, that's very unfortunate there, buddy. I was going to say something else. Ugh. I also have a slightly quicker transition, because I have more money, into the Twilight Council specifically. So I can afford a Twilight Council now, because I'm not going to get supply block anytime soon, because I have 2 supply less than I usually would have. I hope everyone could kind of follow that. But usually you have 3 units, so then I would be starting to get supply block, and this pylon would be, well, probably slightly too late for that, because I would be supply blocked right at this moment. And that would obviously be very frustrating, something we do not want. Okay, we're going to move out. Slightly quicker one of these. Woo! A jackpot, baby! Get the jackpot. And you might be wondering why I'm moving out with every single unit that I have right now. A relatively simple reason for that. It's because I can always just warp in again behind it. Ooh, the question now is he going to commit to this or not? So I'm just going to split up my oracles. I'm kind of afraid of any potential baning bust as well, hitting from the left side. Okay, well, we get some info here. What's happening on the left side? And we can just shoot for free every single time at this point. One of these. More of these bad boys. And I'm just going to harass a little bit on the other side as well. We get 2 extra gateways, just like last time. So this is all fairly similar. The openers are super similar, and that's nice as well, because it allows you to hide things very, very properly. Yeah, not the greatest control out of me. This game is over though. This was completely fine. I didn't warp in my stalkers like I should have. But overall I'm still pretty happy with this entire situation. So yeah, not the end of the world. We'll get a robo. We have 8 stalkers. We're gonna wait till we have 10. We'll form a wall over here. Then we start moving out. Now, one of the reasons why I really like this as well is because you're a little bit safer against run-bys. You don't have to defend a fort base that doesn't have any natural defenses there yet. So that's one of the reasons why I'm a huge fan of this. So this is bad for my opponent. That was really bad for my opponent. We're going to start moving up this this little ramp right now. We do get a fort base at this point. And that should actually hit at around the same time. Good lord. Nah, I don't really like this. This is good for me, but I'm getting a little bit destroyed. Just a little bit. Yeah. This should have actually gone better. Despite it still going well, this really should have just gone better. I'm gonna add 2 gates. So now this base is relatively late. We have fast Archons, which forces quick roaches as well. We're going to move out with this. I don't actually know where my opponent's fort base is, which is pissing me off. One of these over here. I'm supply blocked because I'm macroing poorly, not because of any other reason. So yeah, this type of stuff is just going to be really, really difficult for my opponent currently. And the reason is really simple. It's just because, well, I have 2 Archons. 2 Archons allow me to basically do whatever. Do have to be somewhat careful when the roaches start showing up, because then surrounds on my units are once again becoming more and more viable. Whatever, we'll just build... Oh yeah, so little gates. Okay, here they come. Now they finally start going. We have good eco. Actually want to fully wall this area now, I think. Seems about fine. Seems about fine. And while we do that type of walling as well, just want to make sure that I have a counterattack available on the map. Get 1 Stormer in this area. And right now I'm just preparing for an attack out of my opponent, which feels kind of inevitable. There we go. So that was the attack, I guess. That kind of felt inevitable. We are late with our fort base. Just have to admit it. We are very, very late with our fort base right now. We have way too many stalkers as well, for no real reason. Which makes life even worse. We got a second one of these. Okay, here comes another attack. That's actually not going to be possible. I think I can jump on top of this almost. Whoa! What is this? What in the world was that? Wait, I'm in the main base. That's what this is. Okay, we have +2. We have a very decent amount of Templars still alive. My opponent probably has nothing. We're going to send this run by towards the far left side. Try and cancel a base there, I guess. Oh, I forgot charge! No wonder my zealots are so slow. Oh. Not having charge definitely doesn't help. Oh, I already was wondering why that run by didn't do so well. Well, then we're just gonna get more stalkers, I guess. This run by is also practically useless then, huh? I'm actually supply blocked. Oh, I'm maxed still. I didn't quite realize I was gonna remain maxed. Oh, that was not a good fight. But I don't think it's going to matter either. We're still completely maxed. This Zealot run by did some damage despite there being no charge. The classic no charge Zealot run by. Love to see it. So basically this allows me... I completely forgot to talk about the differences and what I've been doing. I kind of got caught up in my own spiel. Yeah, what this build allowed me to do is to have a very powerful push with +2 and Storm. Rather than having constant aggression, you have an initial push out with the Stalkers. At least the way that I play it. There's other options as well. You have an initial push out with the Stalkers. And you're kind of planning on fighting around the fort base. But because the early game was somewhat chaotic, the game remained chaotic. And you fight around your opponent's fort base, force out some units, and then after you build your 2 Archons, you take your fort base, you get your storm going, you start your +2, that type of stuff. And your Archons can defend your fort base. And so your fort base is a lot safer. You only have a single real push out with the Stalkers. The rest is just kind of moving along the edges to try and deny some creep. Maybe you even get an observer with this rather than a fast prism, which I did here. I had a really poor macro this game. I don't even want to talk about this game. Just complete chaos. But we win in the end, and the Protoss Hunter once again becomes the prey. We're going to be playing a 3rd game here, and hopefully I'm feeling a PvT. Smelling a PvT. Okay, see you on game number 3. Alright, we get Protoss Hunter for a 3rd time in a row. And now I'm actually out of build orders. No, plenty of stuff, don't worry. We'll play one of my all-time favorites, actually. I'll show you all what's good. This is a very kind of tricky build that I'm going to be playing here, which I don't want to claim credit for it, but I am currently the only one that plays it, I believe. But it is extremely similar to 4-gate glaive adept builds, basically. So it's just a kind of derivative of that. We'll go over it. Don't worry. Open up with a gas first, no scout. Hope that I'm not getting 12 boot. Yeah, I already did. Good luck, have fun. If I get 12 boot, I'll lose the game because I'm not planning on scouting. And there's really nothing you can do about a 12 boot this time. So at this point, my fate is in Protoss Hunter's hands. And I think I'm safe there. So far, only hash first. And I've been gate scouting. Gate scout is the best scout against 12 boot. You have a decent amount of money. You have plenty of time to respond as well, and you can't get tricked by drones moving away pretending to build a hatch like you sometimes can when you're playing a pylon scout or a pre-pylon scout. You also have a lot more money if you play gate scout over a pylon or even a pre-pylon scout. Technical details, don't worry about it. Anyway, if we get 12 boot, we're dead, and that will be the end of the video, just like that. Boom. 155 is the timing we're waiting for. Whenever I play this build in tournaments, or whenever not just this build, but just a gas first and a no scout, I'm always looking at the clock. Although there's no purpose, but you know, once the clock hits 156, you're like, oh, thank the Lord, I'm good. You know, we're done here. We're fine. Yeah, we're fine. Actually, a little bit earlier already, like 52, you probably should see them in vision. So I'm just happy that that's not the case. Could still be a 16 pool, and because I'm not scouting whatsoever, I die against a 16 pool with 6 links as well, I believe. So, technically we're not safe yet, but 16 pool is really, really rare to play. Like, extremely rare, and also cannot be done reactively against people that open up with Gate Scout every game like I do. 16 pool can only be done against people reactively who usually open up with a Pylon Scout. Which is why you're not allowed to play just Pylon Scout and then sometimes no Scout whatsoever. Actual facts. Because then when you do that, they can just play 16 pool and they can kill your Pylon and you're usually fine. Okay, the cancel move. We're going to once again kill this Oracle. No, the Overlord. It's our main goal in life, killing that Overlord. Rather than getting 2 Oracles this time around though, we'll stick with a single Oracle. What that allows us is a faster Twilight Council. A Twilight Council that will be built before... Yes, you heard that correctly. Because I said it very loud as well, so it's difficult to mishear that. A Twilight Council that will be before the 3rd base. To make matters even worse or better, or to even up the stakes there, we will also be getting an extra gateway before our 3rd base. And we'll stick with 3 gateways total here. You could also go up to 4, but you don't actually have enough money for that. So there's no purpose in getting 4. Whenever you see a Protoss playing a 4-gate blink before 3rd base, if there are Protoss players that do that, I don't think anyone plays this, then yeah, it's not actually good. Okay, so we kill that. This looks exactly the same as my last game did, by the way. Just want everyone to be aware of that. So this is a great type of series mind game as well. It's always smart to explain all of your series mind games in a video on YouTube. That way, if you ever have to play series in the future, everyone can just see what you're planning on doing. That's the mindset of a competitor. So we're just going to warp in 2 over here, and we immediately have to get a pylon, or we're going to get majorly supply blocked. Majorly supply blocked. We can also get a... There we go. Another one of these. What was I gonna say? We can also get a pylon on the map up here. This is a move that isn't very popular right now. I'm trying to make it popular though. And I have a feeling that's not going to work, but we'll see. Okay, so we... Oh my god. Move out already, you idiot. Oh no, I first want this. No, I don't. Don't have money for that. Not the greatest control out of me, honestly. Let's see what these queens are doing. Well, not a whole lot. See a roach worm coming out as well. Yeah, we'll stay on 3 gas actually this time around. So we want one more warp in. We're going to have an absolute crap ton of these dudes. Stalkers they're called. They have a name, Kevin. They have a name. Okay, here we go. High ground pylon. Check. I thought I already built a battery. Oh no, I said I couldn't afford it. Which probably was correct as well. Okay, here we go. Oh. That's a lot of links. What is this crap? Did I just get surrounded? Oh, look at this move. Didn't actually set this up in the early game. Please survive. It didn't survive. Actually got one of these as well. Didn't quite see a what you call it? Yeah, build it. Build it! Nice. I didn't quite see a spore over there yet. And no spore means that DT sometimes can do something. This is another thing that I actually believe strongly in, is that DTs are currently underrated in this matchup. They're very difficult because literally no one rates them. So just even thinking they might sometimes have any type of use with already rating them more than majority of the people. Like, they're extremely underrated right now. And I rate them. I really do. A little bit. Not a lot. Really just very, very little even. Out of a 10, I'd give them like a 4, you know? In very, very specific situations, they might be okay if your opponent doesn't scout. So, okay, really, I don't really rate them, I guess. So it's important to always blink in parts. That way, your opponent can never get a full surround. It makes the micro for you so much easier. I still don't have... Kill it! Did that die? No shot, right? I don't think it did. Don't have the money to afford this. Don't actually feel super good in this game right now. Just have to admit. I felt like my early game was pretty okay though. I think I'm going to get surrounded here by some links from the side. They're always looking for chokes as well. To kind of fight in. This is pain. And this is why you usually want to keep some oracles alive. Losing my oracle was painful. Oh, I have one once again. Mineral field depleted. I hope that didn't get spotted. Oh my god, I'm super surrounded now. Uh-oh, I don't want to die, I don't want to die! I died. Whatever. Was this bad? Yes. Was this very bad? Probably also yes, actually. Don't actually have any of these things properly set up. Want a zealot run by, heading towards the top side right now. Woo! I have a lot of powerful defense here. And we have a big Zealot weapon in this area as well. Nah, no way. That thing didn't do anything. Are we winning? This is also the reason we can kind of see why I don't like this specific style on this map. It's because it feels really tight in holding often. It's just really difficult in making sure that you don't straight up just die. What is this crap? Oh, I forgot about that one. You guys are gonna go here. You have a good worker count though. Oh, you die. Split, 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 split. I think we win this game. What's happening over here? Oh, I don't actually have recall available. Well, we're killing everything here. And as long as we don't actually lose our 5th base, I think we're just going to be completely fine. What's the upgrades like? Oh yeah, we're gonna be completely fine. Keep a lot alive here as well. Now we get a couple of Archons from my collection of DTs. I'm out of energy completely. Maybe this idiot should also join my army. Ooh, what is that? Hey, go back home. We don't want you there, buddy. No, you're coming back here, actually. Okay, you run by towards this topside base. Look at this. Just going to kind of defend over here. Oh, no, you go back there. This might be useful. Oh, there's still one, 2 more in this area. If I can kill this, that would be huge. Ooh, this actually didn't go too well. It's a relatively bad engagement here. Just have to admit it. I won't actually heal my main base right now. And blink on top of this, so it surrounds it. At the same time, I need to make sure... Oh. No, well, I ended up losing that. I also want to make sure that I don't lose this base. So he's going to run by with the roaches towards the left side. I have a lot of workers here right now. I'm like 90% sure that there's going to be a roach run by here. There we go. Yeah. Roaches have like 0 upgrades at this point. That's bad for my opponent. It's good for me. These Archons are putting in so much work right now against all these Lings. And then once it's Stalkers against like Ling Bane, it's usually fine for me. Okay, maybe not this time around. Actually need to pull back for a tiny second. Oh, I thought I could recall here. I definitely cannot recall. That also was a very debatable blink forward out of me. Actually, might put me in a little bit of trouble. Yeah, this is why I much prefer playing a higher gas style on this type of map. Still think I'm winning in a pretty big way, but... Actually, you guys can go over here. There's no more creep in the middle, which means that this type of road now is free, I would say. Can I say that? I think I can. I can blink down here. Miss that blink, just ever so slightly. Is ladder great now? It's brilliant special. Ladder right now is better than it's ever been. Yeah. Except for that part. Okay, I completely messed up everything here. Surely he's not actually gonna try to bust this, right? I actually think we can do some real damage here. We have way better upgrades, and we also have some air units, which he doesn't actually have a counter for. Okay, this game is completely over. Even more over than before. Hop. You can continue just killing more and more drones. I think we win the game, you know? We have insane upgrades as well. Hey, what is it? 3-2-1. My opponent is still on 2-0. There is adrenal glands, which is a pretty big thing. That I do have to admit. GG. Nice. Got a little bit closer than I ideally would have wanted. Thought my early game should have been good enough here. Army value was way down. Workers active was really close. Once again, I just think going into more gases with this opener would have actually been better, rather than staying like this. Alright, where do we end? 6-6-52, so I think we gained like legit 18 points against the same opponent 3 times in a row. That is going to be it for me today. Thanks everyone so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy this episode. Only dubs today. 66.5 means that 6.7 is actually pretty close. That's where I usually aim for. If I'm there, I'm happy. Alright, thanks all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time for a new video. Bye bye.